The war involving the United States, Israel, and Iran has entered a volatile and defining phase, with its consequences now stretching far beyond the battlefield. What began as a regional confrontation is increasingly evolving into a broader geopolitical crisis, drawing in global powers and reshaping the balance of international security. 3 weeks into the conflict, the situation remains deeply unstable. Military operations continue across multiple fronts, while intelligence reports and diplomatic signals suggest that the war is becoming more complex and more dangerous with each passing day. At the center of growing concern are allegations that Russia has been quietly supporting Iran's military efforts. According to U.S. intelligence assessments cited by major outlets, Moscow may have provided Tehran with sensitive information that could help identify and strike American military assets in the region. These reports suggest that the intelligence includes locations of U.S. warships, aircraft, and strategic installations, potentially giving Iran a significant operational advantage. Analysts note that such assistance, if confirmed, would represent a major escalation, effectively drawing Russia into the conflict indirectly. At the same time, these claims remain contested. Russian officials have categorically denied any such involvement. The Kremlin dismissed reports of sharing drone technology or satellite intelligence as fake news, rejecting accusations of direct military cooperation with Iran. Even within U.S. leadership, the response has been cautious. Officials acknowledge the reports but emphasize that the full extent of any Russian role is still unclear. In fact, following direct communication between Washington and Moscow, Russian representatives reiterated that they were not sharing intelligence about U.S. military positions. Despite the uncertainty, battlefield developments suggest that Iran's military capabilities have improved noticeably. Recent strikes have been more precise, more coordinated, and more strategically targeted than in previous confrontations. Analysts observing the conflict point out that Iranian operations are now focusing on radar systems, command centers, and critical infrastructure, indicating a shift toward disabling enemy capabilities rather than symbolic retaliation. Experts also note that Iran's tactics increasingly resemble modern Russian military doctrine, particularly in the integration of drones with missile systems and electronic warfare strategies. Western defense officials have warned that Iranian drone operations now reflect techniques seen in the Ukraine war, raising suspicions of indirect Russian influence on training and tactics. Meanwhile, Iran's leadership remains intact despite sustained bombardment. U.S. intelligence assessments indicate that the government is not in danger of collapse and continues to maintain control, even as it absorbs significant damage. The conflict has also been shaped by high-profile assassinations and retaliatory actions. The killing of senior Iranian figures has triggered a wave of coordinated strikes by Tehran, targeting both military and economic assets across the region. These attacks have extended beyond Israel and U.S. forces, hitting energy infrastructure in Gulf countries and raising fears of a wider regional war. The consequences have been immediate and far-reaching. Oil facilities have been damaged, shipping routes disrupted, and global markets thrown into uncertainty. According to recent reports, the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil transit routes, has become nearly impassable due to escalating military activity. This disruption has had a dramatic impact on global energy markets. Oil prices have surged, supply chains have been strained, and economies around the world are beginning to feel the pressure. Experts warn that rerouting oil shipments away from the Strait of Hormuz is not a simple solution. It would require significant infrastructure changes, major investments in time, resources that are not readily available in the midst of a rapidly escalating war. For Russia, the crisis presents a complex mix of risks and opportunities. On one hand, Moscow has publicly called for restraint and diplomacy, urging the United States and Israel to halt their attacks and return to negotiations. On the other hand, analysts suggest that the disruption of global energy markets could benefit Russia economically. Higher oil prices strengthen its position as a major energy exporter, particularly at a time when it continues to face Western sanctions related to the war in Ukraine. In Moscow, policymakers are reportedly evaluating how to capitalize on shifting energy dynamics, potentially redirecting exports toward more profitable markets in Asia and other regions. At the same time, Russia continues to emphasize its reliability as an energy supplier, signaling its intention to maintain long-term partnerships despite geopolitical tensions. The war is also reshaping global alliances. Iran's foreign minister has openly acknowledged that Russia and to some extent China are providing cooperation in various forms, describing the partnership as long-standing and ongoing. This admission, combined with intelligence reports from Western sources, has intensified concerns that the conflict is becoming part of a broader geopolitical struggle between competing global blocs. Meanwhile, Western governments are grappling with the challenge of managing multiple crises simultaneously. The ongoing war in Ukraine continues to demand resources and attention, even as the Middle East conflict escalates. NATO leaders have emphasized the need to support both fronts, highlighting the strain on global security systems. Diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation have so far yielded limited results. Calls for coordinated international action, including securing maritime routes and stabilizing energy markets, have met with mixed responses. Some countries remain hesitant to become directly involved, wary of being drawn into a broader and potentially uncontrollable war. At the same time, tensions continue to rise following incidents involving diplomatic facilities and military strikes. Russia has strongly condemned attacks linked to the conflict, warning that such actions risk further destabilizing the region and escalating the crisis. Amid these developments, political messaging has often diverged from intelligence assessments. At one stage of the conflict, the U.S. president downplayed concerns about Russian involvement, suggesting that even if such assistance existed, it would not significantly alter the outcome of the war. However, behind the scenes, intelligence officials have expressed concern about the potential impact of even limited cooperation between Russia and Iran. Analysts warn that access to high-quality satellite imagery, targeting data, or tactical expertise could significantly enhance Iran's ability to conduct effective strikes. One former intelligence analyst explained the potential implications, stating if there are details in those images that have intel value to the Iranians, that would really help them. This perspective underscores a key reality of modern warfare. Even incremental advantages in intelligence and coordination can have outsized effects on the battlefield. Beyond conventional military operations, the conflict is also expanding into new domains. Cyber attacks linked to pro-Iranian groups have targeted infrastructure across the Middle East and beyond, including attempts to disrupt systems in the United States. These operations reflect a broader strategy aimed at exerting pressure not only on the battlefield, but also in economic and technological arenas. As the war continues, one of the most pressing concerns is the absence of clear limits. Each escalation, whether through military strikes, intelligence sharing allegations, or economic disruption, raises the risk of further expansion. The possibility of direct involvement by additional global powers remains a constant concern.
Analysts warn that miscalculations or unintended consequences could quickly transform the conflict into a much larger international confrontation. For now, the situation remains unresolved. Iran continues to resist, demonstrating resilience and adaptability. The United States and Israel maintain pressure through sustained military operations.
And Russia's role, whether real, exaggerated, or somewhere in between, remains one of the most closely watched and debated aspects of the conflict. What is clear is that the war is no longer confined to a single region or a single set of actors. It has become a complex, multi-layered crisis with global implications, one that is reshaping alliances, testing international norms, and challenging the stability of the global order. As events continue to unfold, the world is watching closely, aware that the outcome of this conflict could have lasting consequences far beyond the Middle East.